Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online classes. Today we will start our poem that is a photograph. A photograph written by Shirley Tolson. Let's talk about the author first. Shirley Tolson was born in 1924 in England. She was writer, editor of magazines. She came under the influence of Celtic Christianity. Celtic Christianity refers broadly to certain features of Christianity that were common during the early Middle Ages. Shirley Tolson has written this poem, A Photograph. What does this photograph mean to you? A photograph, it always revives our memories. No doubt. We click the photographs these days with our mobile phones. But the old photographs which are kept in our, albums, those revive more than those which we are clicking these days. Have you seen certain photographs which are pasted on some cardboard? So, my dear students, certain kind of things will revive here in this poem. Shirley Tolson, through this poem, describes three stages. In the first stage, the photograph shows the poet's mother standing at the beach, enjoying a holiday with her two cousins. She was 12 or so at the time. The second stage takes us 20 or 30 years. That takes us 20 or 30 years later. The mother would laugh at the way she and her cousins, Betty and Dolly, were dressed up for the occasion. And in the third stage, the poet remembers her mother with a heavy heart. The photograph revives nostalgic feelings in the poet. So, the three stages childhood, then adulthood, then aging, or the loss of mother has been shown in this poem. Let's talk about the main idea now. Number one, as I mentioned you, death. The death or the first stage is childhood, right? Then adulthood, and then the death that has been told in this poem. And death can numb you and leave you at a loss of words. The finality of death and the loss cannot be expressed in words. Death can silence you and leave you speechless. Its silence silences. Number two, the mother missed her past and found it amusing, and the daughter missed her past with her mother. That is the time she spent with her mother when she was alive. Then, the third thing which is important in this poem, the words transient feet. Transient. What do you mean by this word transient? Transient means momentary, changeable, or you can say mortal. हिंदी में हम कहते हैं नाशवान, right? Man is called mortal. Same way, a transient means mortal. It shows transient or temporary human life, right? Which is compared to nature. Nature is called immortal. It is not changeable. A man can be changeable. You must have seen that when you were child, your looks were different. When you grow up, then you are quite different, and at the aging, you must be different. But nature, if you had gone to a sea beach in your early childhood, then if you go over there in your adulthood, then you will find less change in nature. No doubt shops can be changed, but the sea, that must not be changed, right? So here it has been compared that the human beings, they are transient, but the nature is intransient, right? This is all about the poem. The extracts have been taken here. Let's go back at the end. Here I am talking about the poem once again. The summarization in nutshell. I'll tell you here first. The poet recalls the memory of her late mother, gazing at the frame, the cardboard. In olden times, we used to have some cardboard, right, and on which the photographs have been pasted. Have you seen your grandmother or your mother's, wedding albums? So it must be in that framework, where the photograph of a mom along with cousins Betty and Dolly in their preteens. The photo refers to one of their visits to the sea beach. Here you will get a wonderful experience of sea beach. At that time, the mother's face had the sweetness of a young girl. Transient feet refers to the transience of life. She recalls how mom had looked at the photo 20, 30 years later and laughed at the attires. Attires means clothes that she and her cousins were wearing. The sea holiday was a thing of past for her. Her smiling face had become a thing of past for the poet, just as the mother's childhood had been for her. Both of them, mom and poet, now move on despite the losses. Everyone must have gone under these losses once, once or a while, right? So we can't stop our life if we meet with certain kinds of mishappenings. We have to move on because change is the part and parcel of life. So we have to accept it unwillingly, but we have to accept it and move on. So that's why the poet's mother, for poet's mother, the childhood is a pastime, and for her, for the poet, the loss of mother, right? But they had accepted it, right? So now she has been dead for about 12 years, and she had been looking at that photograph once again. The void in the life of the poet is the silence and gloom that she feels in this poem. So here we are with all the crux of the poem, right? So we'll take up the poem with each line, right? And I want you to download it first, read it out, and tomorrow I'll explain. And I hope the crux about the poet and the poem that has gone into your head and heart, and will enjoy the poem tomorrow. Thank you.